All right, so let's jump right into a really big question. What is it that truly drives us? We all like to think we're guided by these noble ideals, right? But what if the very foundation of our entire moral world is, well, something way more primal?
So in this explainer, we're going to dig into a pretty challenging idea from the source material. What if those values we cherish the most, things like courage, honesty, integrity, what if they aren't nearly as solid as we think? What if they're actually super fragile? So to really get why, we have to start with one single, universal human emotion. And it's an emotion that, according to the source material we're looking at, pretty much dictates, well, everything about our moral lives.
Yeah, that's a pretty bold claim, right? The argument here is that our deep, instinctual fear of not being, of just, annihilation, is the actual bedrock we've built our whole system of values on. It's like this silent engine just humming away in the background of all our decisions. And this thought experiment from the source material, it just brings it all home, doesn't it? I mean, imagine we meet some truly alien civilization. Our first question isn't going to be about their culture or their science or their philosophy. Nope, it's going to be, can this thing kill me? It's just a raw, pure expression of that survival instinct. The very same instinct that shapes how we deal with every other being on this planet.
Okay, so how does this foundational fear actually stack up against our most noble ideals, especially, when we're really, truly tested?
I mean, just think about the values we all try to live up to. These are the qualities we admire in our heroes, right? Our role models, and hopefully in ourselves too. They're supposed to represent the absolute best of what it means to be human.
But here's the really stark claim from the source material. When our actual survival is on the line, when we're staring down the genuine danger of death, all those values, they just vanish. Poof. They become a luxury we simply can't afford anymore. And this leads us right to the core dilemma, the central question of all this. If our own end is right around the corner, do any of these ideals even matter? I mean, really, what good is being noble or honest when you're faced with, well, nothingness? But, and this is a big but, the text doesn't just leave us there in this dark, cynical place. It actually reveals that there is one exception, a single force that's powerful enough to stand up to this huge existential pressure.
And look, we're not just talking about romantic love here. The source defines this as something way, way deeper. It's an authentic, profound love for existence itself, for being with a capital B. It's this deep care that goes way beyond our own self-interest, even beyond our own survival.
And this is the core insight. This authentic, sacrificial kind of love. It's presented as the only thing that allows our values, our nobility, our courage, our integrity, to actually survive that ultimate test. It's the anchor for our morality when we're facing total annihilation. So, this whole idea builds toward what the source calls the salvation of our moral lives. And it sets up two totally different competing paths for us to follow.
And here they are, the two paths we can take. On one side, you've got fear as the driver. And what does that lead to? An exacerbated ego, a total focus on pure self-interest and all the negative behavior that comes with it. But on the other side, you have love, and that fosters a real care for others. It makes a sacrificial mindset possible, and ultimately, it leads to true moral freedom.
So at the end of the day, the argument is this. By conquering our deepest, most primal fear through this kind of authentic love, we become genuinely free. We're not slaves to our survival instinct anymore. We're actually free to be truly moral, to act out of a care for something much, much bigger than ourselves. And that leaves us with one last, really provocative thought to chew on. If love is the only force strong enough to conquer our fear of death, well, then it forces us to ask ourselves a pretty tough question. What ideals, what people, what principles out there are actually worth more than our own survival?